Welcome to the Doc G Show, a radio show cluster. Without further ado, critics have said he has the face for radio and a voice for silent films. Your host, Ben Doc G Gordon.
And we are on the air. Welcome to Doc G Show. I'm your host, Doc G. With me, as always, the one, the only, Mikey Maximus, Dad Max Beyond the Thunderdome, Charette.
Say what?
Doc G, what's up, sir?
Oh, man. I'm doing all right. That was
you doing good?
That was a tip of the hat to Mad Max, Mike.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I put in Dad Max.
Great movie.
Yeah, did you see Beyond the Thunderdome? Have you seen all of them? Like
I've
all
seen
the old ones?
I've watched the Mel Gibson
79.
only
yeah.
the first one, yeah, and then I watched the newer one, but only the first one, only the yeah.
I like it. Man, I've seen the first one. I don't remember anything about it. Like I need to watch it again, you know. But I don't know. Watching something with Mel Gibson, it's not as bad as listening to a Kanye song, but it makes me feel dirty whenever I do it. So, you know.
Oh gosh, that's hilarious.
Mike, happy scale. How happy are you right now?
Oh man, I'm like, well, I'm moving, Doc G. I thought we were talking about this, so I'll be honest with everybody. I'm about an 8 today. 8 out of 10.
That would, like my brother's scale, so my brother's lower than me on a weekly scale, usually on his happy scale. And if he had to move, it would be like a 1 out of 10. Like my brother hates moving. It is like his number one fear in life. Like he just,
It's rough, man.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. But Mike, I'm here to raise your mood.
Word.
All right,
Because
let's do it.
I have a headline from CNBC that caught my eye on this very topic, and I was like, I gotta investigate this. Here's the headline, Mike. Quote: "People who are truly content with life do these 10 little things every day," says happiness expert Mike.
What do they do, Doc G?
Well, first of all, I do have to say, Mike, what's a happiness expert? I saw that. I was like, how are you an expert on an emotion?
Yeah, I don't know, but they're probably miserable, right? Like, isn't that how it works?
Exactly. Well, I mean, like, Mike, let's look at most stand-ups. Most stand-ups, people are like, oh, they're telling jokes, they're fun. They're the saddest people in the world. A lot of them.
Oh, yeah,
not,
for sure.
Not potentially you, Mike, but most of them out there. Oof, right? But, like,
That's bad.
I feel like that's just how cynical I am. I was like, I saw that happiness expert, and I was like, I don't believe it.
Nope.
And then also, I was like, if somebody told me that in person, I would definitely walk in the other direction.
So true.
Hey, I'm a happiness expert. Oh, cool. Hey, can you look over there for a second? And then just run in the other direction. Like, that's almost as off-putting if somebody told me on an elevator, like, hey, do you believe in the word of God? Oh, Jesus Christ, I got to get out of here. Oh, no. Right? Like, I know.
But it's like the same thing as that Pharrell song, because I'm happy. Like, it's like that song stirs the opposite emotion. What is that?
If you listen to it enough,
Maybe
I
not
will
always.
say.
Yeah,
Like, when I first
Maybe
heard
that's
it,
what
I was
It
like,
just got played out.
Yeah, it got played out a lot. But I looked her up, Mike. Jessica Weiss. That's the expert. And she does smile a lot. So
That's good.
I guess that's something. But anyways, Mike, let's get down to it. I went fully down the happiness expert rabbit hole. Let me get back to the headline. People who are truly content with life do these 10 little things every day, says happiness expert. One other thing before I get to the 10 things, Mike. 10? We've got 10 things you have to do to be happy?
That's a lot.
Yeah, right? Like, I didn't know being happy was a marathon. I gotta say, being sad and lazy involves way less things. So I think I might just be sad and lazy. That's basically
a lot easier.
Nothing. The sad and lazy people do these 0 things to be sad and lazy. Nice. But
watch the news.
One thing, they paid attention to what's going on in the
news.
world. Oh,
that's number 1.
Mike, I actually did though look at the list. So I've got amazing news for you. You want to hear the amazing news?
Yes.
The Doc G Show hits almost all of these things.
There we go.
Almost all of these things. Mike, number 1, prioritizing friendships. Happy people prioritize friendships. And guess what, Mike? I always prioritize during the week talking to you.
Oh, yeah, me too, man. Appreciate that.
That's number 1. We hit that one.
Hey, man.
Number 2.
Yeah.
Resting strategically. Mike, I'm not exactly sure what she was talking about here, so I'm going to move on to the next one. We're just not counting that one. Number 3, engaging in creative work. That's what this show is, Mike.
That's what we do.
It's one massive pot of creativity.
Yeah, it is. Organized rambling.
2 completed. 2 out of 3. Here's number 4.
Yeah.
Cultivating community. You need to have friendships throughout. And guess what, Mike? We've got the Doc G Show community.
Oh, we do?
From Falkenstein, Germany, to San Diego, California, to Piracai, Brazil, we have cultivated a community, Mike. Woohoo! 3 out of 4. Number 5, not being afraid to geek out.
Shh.
We geek out all the time, Mike.
Literally doing it right now.
Bidets, llamas, penis rooms, you name it.
Oh, yeah.
We've geeked out on this show about it.
Oh, yeah, we have.
Number 6, setting firm boundaries. Happy people set time to themselves, Mike. We do that here.
Yeah.
Every Wednesday from 7 to 9. Boundaries set. That is our show. We have time to ourselves, Mike. Number 7, managing their energy. Again, Mike, this one I didn't really know what she was going with, so we're just going to scrap that one, act like that one didn't happen. Number 8, embracing micro connections. Apparently, Mike, people that are happy, small conversations with people they don't really know make them more happy.
Okay.
Well, guess what? We have one of those every week on the show, and it makes us very happy. This week, it's John Moreland, a person I didn't know before I met him, and now, oh my God, he's part of our cultivated family. There we go. Number 9, savoring the good, Mike. Happy people savor good experiences. Guess what? On this show, we have a segment called News That Doesn't Suck.
That's right.
That is
Yeah, we do.
Savoring good. Do we do it that often? No. We don't pull it out that often. Maybe we should. We need to savor some good at some point in time. We need to do that. Number
Every once in
10,
a while.
Mike, pursuing meaningful progress. Mike, we shout out every regular listener of the show, and we celebrate the fantastic guests we have. We celebrate progress.
Oh, yeah, we do.
My God, Mike, did I just prove to you and the listeners that this show is basically Prozac on steroids?
Yes, you did, Doc G.
Woo! My God, I'm psyched now, Mike. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. And here I was going to do 0. Can you believe that? My gosh. I'm fired up now. Are you ready to fire this show up, Mike?
Let's fire up this show, Doc G.
All 3 engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and lift off.
Oh, the happiest in the world. The happiest.
You know what? Hey, and we do take strategic rest on this show. We take little breaks.
So now you're saying 9 out of 10. That's true. We do
pretty sure it's
strategize
9
our
out of 10.
energy. We pace. That is true, Mike. What was the one that we didn't, that I did? What was the first one? Resting strategically, and then the other one was, I think managing their energy. That's 10 out of 10, Mike, because we rest strategically to manage our energy, to pace ourselves. 10 out of 10. Woo-hoo. Yes. God, we are so happy, Mike. You don't even
Yeah, we
know.
That's right.
Gosh, and I am very happy because of our guest this week, John Moreland. My Lord, Mike, this guy. You know what they call this guy, Mike?
What do they call him?
The songwriter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I forget how many of our previous guests follow him on social medias, but it's like 40 of our former guests follow him on social media.
Jeez.
And they're constantly liking their stuff. He is the songwriter. Songwriters look up to him, you know?
He writes songs about songwriters?
He writes songs that songwriters can relate to,
Oh, okay.
you know? And maybe us as the general public are just too dumb to really appreciate him, you know? We don't have enough of that artistic talent to understand. But guess what, Mike? I appreciate a lot of his songs. Say what? So there you go. He just came through Florida. He's got more shows coming up throughout May all over the country. Can't wait to talk to him. But, Mike, we need to start. Where we start?
The birthday suit.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
I'm going to be honest, Mike. I'm a little concerned. Might not be able to get any of these.
That's okay.
I think you can get this first one, though. This first one, I think, is the best option.
All right.
So this might start off, and we might be like, all right, we got something here. Or this might go sideways, and we might not have anything.
I'll lose all confidence. Birthday suits.
Famous actress in movies like Training Day, Hitch, The Other Guys, and many others. She's married, she's with Ryan Gosling, has 2 kids with him. Any idea, Mike?
Hitch. Mm-hmm. And what were the other ones?
The main character in Hitch. She was also in Too Fast, Too Furious. She was also in Ghost Rider. Her first big break was in Training Day.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm going to give you her initials. She was born in 1974, by the way.
Okay.
E.M. You got
Is it Eva Mendes?
There you go. Yes.
All right.
Half credit. Nice, Mike. Nice. I'll tell you, that Eva Mendes and Ryan Gosling, they keep it on the low, you know? They've been together for, I think, like 14 years. Something like 2011 that they got together. I'm seeing here that they got married in 2022, though. So they were together for 11 years, and then they got married 3 years ago. So there you go.
Well, you know, sometimes it takes a little bit of time.
Takes a little bit of time. He's 6 years younger than her, too.
Oh, wow.
She's out there just being a cougar, man.
Yeah, there you go.
Apparently she retired. I didn't even know this. She retired from acting.
Good for her.
Yeah, she retired in 2014. And she said, you never know. She may get back into it at some point in time. But, so there you go. And I think they've got 2 kids together, Ryan Gosling and Eva Mendes. So there you go.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So happy birthday to Eva Mendes. Turning, was it 50 or 51? Now I got to check. Hold on. I think it's 50. Yeah, 51. Turning 51. There you go. Yeah. Happy birthday, Eva Mendes. She's already crossed that. Man, she looks stunning for 51 years old.
Oh, yeah. She's
easy
on the eyes.
Easy on the 51. That is unbelievable. Good for you, Eva Mendes. Good for you, Ryan Gosling. He looks pretty good for 44, too. My goodness.
Oh, man, Ryan Gosling.
He is,
he's going to be one of those guys like Harrison Ford.
Oh, absolutely.
He just stays handsome his entire life.
Even
as an elderly man.
Mm-hmm. Stays in the George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Robert Redford, Harrison Ford, all those dudes that you're like, you're 88 and you still look amazing? How the come on. Harrison Ford is in his 80s, I do believe.
Yeah, man.
And he still looks just insane. 82. Jesus. That's crazy. Anyways.
He's freaking playing a Hulk right now.
Exactly. AI helping him out. Come on.
Yeah.
Anyways, happy birthday to Eva Mendes. We got a little sidetracked on good-looking dudes there. Whoops.
Yeah. It happens. It happens on this show.
You know, we're happy people that like good-looking dudes. So what can we say?
Yeah, we are.
Mike, are you ready to rip some headlines?
Let's rip some headlines, Doc G.
It's now time for Rip from the Headlines.
Okay, Mike, let's start with a headline here from Hello. This is, you judge for yourself here, Mike. Quote, Mark Wahlberg's lookalike daughters tower over famous dad in stunning vacation snaps. I do have to say, Mike, first of all, like, should we just title this article Mark Wahlberg Short? Like, would it make Hello Magazine feel better? Like, come on, why you got to call him out like that? Like, tower over. Second of all, Mike, Amazonian ladies that look like Mark Wahlberg, that sounds a little frightening. Like, that's, I don't know. And then I went and looked at these pictures, Mike. They're not taller than their dad.
Nope.
Neither of them are bigger than him. And I'm like, how are they towering over them if they're shorter than him?
He's 5'8".
Yeah,
so I don't know.
He's 5'8", but they're shorter than him. They're like 5'6", 5'5". Now, his wife is taller than him. His wife is definitely taller than him. But, like, you know, I was going to ask you, Mike, how tall you thought Mark Wahlberg was, but you already did the research. I
had to look it up, man. I was right away. I was like, is this a short king that we just don't know?
He's a little bit of a short king, you could say. You know, 5'8" is, but like, that's the thing. It's one of those, it's just like basketball players, Mike. You never know. There's actors that are like down. Most of them are overplaying their height, but there are ones that are like downplaying it, or they're like saying it right on the dot. And then there's ones that are like, oh no, I'm 6'3", and they're definitely like 5'10", and you're like, you know. So it's hard to gauge. You never know. You're looking out there, you're seeing pictures of them. You're like, I have no idea. But one thing I can tell you, Mike, Mark Wahlberg's kids, his daughters, they're not towering over him.
Okay. Well,
False.
That's good.
False, everybody. Don't buy the hype. Mike, this next story was very interesting. It's from The Score, which is a sports outlet. Quote, Butler sued over alleged property damage, unpaid rent in Miami Beach. So this is Jimmy Butler, Mike. You know.
Oh.
Yeah. So Jimmy Butler was sued, and he was sued because apparently he had property damage and he didn't pay his rent. To which the first thing when I saw this story, Mike, I was like, Jimmy Butler's renting a house? Like, he was in Miami for 6 years. He made over $200 million in salary. Buy a house, Jimmy. Like, why are you renting one? You want to take a guess how much his rent was, Mike?
I'm gonna go with $15,000 a month.
Woo! 65,000.
65,000 a month.
65,000 a month. And
Jeez.
The last 2 months he was there, because he extended the lease, it was double that. So it was 130,000 a month.
Oh my goodness.
Every month he was basically buying a new Corvette with that rent. And basically what he was doing there, Mike. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Buy yourself a house, Jimmy. What are you doing, man? It's crazy, man. But apparently that's what they're suing him for. He owes 2 months of rent, and he calls, which, come on, there's no way he did this, $125,000 of damage. I find that hard to believe. Jimmy doesn't seem like a person that was just in there trash, you know? That doesn't sound right. And
yeah, I don't know.
He changed the locks, apparently, though, too. Which, again, Jimmy, if you're going to do that, man, just buy a house. It's yours, man. Come on. I don't get that at all, Mike. Don't get it at all. Mike, I've got
I don't know, man. Some people like renting. I'm one of those guys.
I don't mind renting. I'm a renter, Mike. But, like, when you've got $200 million, might as well buy a house, you know?
So true.
Might as well. You can sell it later. You're not really going under. You're not putting out a bunch of mortgages on that thing. Anyways, Mike, I got a headline from Daily Mail. Quote, Madonna holds a gun to her crotch and locks lips with a nun. Typical Wednesday, right?
Yep.
Hump day. My gosh, it's what we all do. No, apparently she was doing a photo shoot for a CR fashion book, Mike. Yeah, it was pretty weird. I took a look at those pictures. And you're like, no, I'm not trying to be ageist here, but you're 66. And she's just out there in a corset and like lingerie and holding guns to her crotch, like I just said. It's like, all right, I guess. Sure. You know, I will say too, in one of the pictures, wow, look pretty flawless, Mike. I was like 66, man. Okay. Nice. Yeah.
Wonder what she's doing to stay in shape.
Well, you know, there is a lot of surgery. We'll say that.
Dancing. Surgery.
Yeah, there's a lot of that keeps her young. But I
just can't imagine her just going out for walks.
I'm sure she gets fitness. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't. I bet she does some walks. But she definitely dances. I mean, she has to do it for her shows anyways, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways, Mike, I've got a headline from Delish. Our folks over at Delish.
Love Delish.
Quote, a woman becomes violently ill after accidentally eating toxic potatoes.
Oh, no.
Mike, I'll say this right here, the exact reason I never order the toxic potatoes when I'm at a restaurant.
Oh, yeah. You got to stay away from
Never
those.
want to get those on a menu. I go with mashed.
Yeah.
But actually, Mike, that's what this lady did. She got mashed potatoes. Yeah. And
a lot of ingredients, you know?
Well, apparently she ate mashed potatoes, and the restaurant had used sprouted potatoes. You know, where they sprout the little...
Oh, yeah. You can't just, like, pluck those little things off
and
cook it up?
You got to cut them out. You got to cut them out.
Oh,
Anywhere that you see the potato turning green, or you see any of those actual tubers coming off, you gotta cut them off.
Yeah, so they didn't cut them off.
They didn't cut them off. They
right
just ground them right in there. And apparently those green areas have solanine, which is a neurotoxin to us.
Oh, goodness.
Yes. So she got pretty violently ill.
Ugh.
So just in case you guys are getting ready to make some taters out there, just make sure you cut them off.
How possible is it for that stuff to go straight to your brain? I mean, could that like?
Well, you have to have some pretty high content, Mike.
I mean, basically, so you have to eat a lot of it.
Yeah, basically all she had was like, you know, stomach distress and some headaches, you know. But anyways, Mike, I got a headline from Athlon Sports. Athlon Sports here, quote, Bill Belichick's 24-year-old girlfriend uses 4 words to describe their relationship. Mike, I think I've got this. Hold on just a second. A really nice paycheck.
Ooh.
There we go. I got it. She didn't say that, Mike. She said Jordan Hudson posted on her Instagram a picture of her and Bill Belichick with the comment, birds of a feather, Mike. You know, nothing like referencing Billie Eilish. Nothing like referencing a 23-year-old musician when you're talking about your 72-year-old boyfriend.
Oh, yeah.
I can see Bill just rocking out to some Billy before a game, am I right?
Oh,
Man,
yeah.
That's what he's into. I don't know if you saw this, Mike. Made him seem really young, but he went to a UNC basketball game, totally fell asleep. Just middle of the game, courtside, just out. And you're like, woo! Young guy alert. My goodness. It's always a young indication when you can fall asleep anywhere at any time. Mike, next article is from San Francisco Chronicle. Quote, a California woman was stalked by a black bear she named Big Then it killed her. End quote. Mike, I don't want to jump to conclusions, but maybe she shouldn't have given it such a mean name.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, perhaps something like larger than average fuzzy fella might not antagonize the bear so much. You know, it does seem like it sort of went in line. I mean, listen to the article. She named it Big, then it killed her.
Yeah.
That was a call and response right there, Mike. She would have been nice to that guy. Nothing would have happened. Mike, I've got a headline from BuzzFeed. They're always good for some headlines.
Oh, yeah.
Quote, 15 absurd signs that'll have you saying, at least my problems aren't this obvious, end quote. So they had 15 different signs, Mike. And in the article, one of the signs from someplace, they didn't even define where this place was. It was just a sign. It seemed to be a business, but it was a sign that said, quote, and on the floor will no longer be tolerated. Obviously, Mike, there are many questions to the sign. But I think my biggest question seeing the sign was, when was the floor tolerated? Like, did the place go for like 5 years of people just taking dumps on the floor, and then all of a sudden they were like, not anymore! We no longer are we tolerating this. Like, seems like it just never would have been tolerated, you know?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, I would not want to tolerate it, but
Yeah. Even when things were really like old, like back in the olden days. I mean, that was just, horses doing that out in the street.
yeah, you would think. Mike, real quick, last one. I've got a headline here from Vogue. Do you know Millie Bobby Brown?
Oh, yeah, man. It's Stranger Things.
Yes, she got real popular on Stranger Things. Mike, she's been, she's been doing a lot of things since Stranger Things. And people have been saying recently that she looks a lot older than she actually is. Which, no offense to her, I got to say I'd probably go with those folks. If you look at if you look at a lot of her pictures, I mean, she's 21. I was like, what? Like, there's no way. If you would ask me how old she is, yeah, I'd probably say 30, something like that. She's married to Bon Jovi's son already.
Yeah.
At 21. It's insane. Anywho, Vogue felt the need to write an article about the comments she's been receiving about how she looks. And their article, Mike, is, quote, no one cares how old you think Millie Bobby Brown looks. I don't know, Mike. Got to say it sounds like the author cares how old people think Millie Bobby Brown looks.
Yeah.
That's one of those things. When you write an article like that, it's pretty obvious that
Sounds like you care.
it's getting a little bit under your skin. Because if you didn't care, you wouldn't write the article. You'd be like, well, it doesn't matter. Who cares? But apparently, I don't know. I didn't look into it, Mike. I don't know what the angle of this lady. I mean, I'm guessing it's just we shouldn't be judging a person's looks,
Yeah.
But I don't think it's bad in the fact that they're saying she looks 30 instead of 20. It's not like they're saying she looks like she's 85. It's still a young lady. Just saying.
Yeah.
She's out there doing things, man. She's looking good.
She looks young to me. I don't know. She looks, I guess maybe 25.
Yeah,
But
well,
you know what? I don't care.
I'm not interested. Doesn't matter to me at all. I mean,
She looks great.
She looks great, and she's, she's got 64 million followers on Instagram there, and she's doing a whole bunch of movies. I gotta say though, like, yeah, I will say she is. Whatever she wants to do, Mike. But it seems like she is adulting very fast.
Yeah, married at 21, man. I don't know. I feel like
That's a lot.
I don't care, but it just seems like it's
Yeah, do what
pretty
you want,
young.
but my God, that is no way. I would have had a full-on anxiety attack and probably died if you told me I had to marry someone at 21.
I would have, yeah.
You would have forced me to. I would have been like, ow, and my heart would have exploded, and that would have been it. You know?
I would say I would have been divorced at 21 too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
5 months.
Be like, there's a way to get out of this, right? Okay, cool.
Well, no, it wouldn't have been by my choice. It would have just happened because at 21, I was a very...
You would have self-imploded.
Unstable.
Yes. Mike, we are going to take a break because it's a reason for happiness.
Strategic rest.
Yes, we need it to be happy. We are going to hear from John Moreland. We're going to be right back here on the Doc G Show. And we are back here on the Doc G Show, Spinnaker Radio, WSKRLP 95.5 FM in Jacksonville, Florida. Mike, what do the listeners need to do?
Well, Doc G, if the listeners feel like the show is a positive way to waste their time, they should please subscribe to the show wherever they get their podcasts. We are on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube, we're on SoundCloud, Sirius, Pandora Plus. Wherever you get your podcast, listeners, please subscribe to the show. It's a cost-effective way to support the show. And listeners, if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a 5-star review. We would love that.
Amen. Couple more 5-star reviews on Spotify, Mike. We are still not at the top of the order whenever you search for the Doc G Show. But don't worry, it's going to happen.
Oh, yeah, it is.
It's going to happen. Hey, listeners, just think with me for a little bit. How stupid that is. Again, that makes zero sense. You Google right now, listeners, Google The Doc G Show. Look what comes up. Us. That's the first thing. That's how an algorithm works. Do it on Apple. Put in The Doc G Show. We're the first thing that comes up. Do it on SoundCloud. We're the first thing that comes up. Then you go on Spotify and they're like, how about these other 30 podcasts? Do these work for you? No!
Nope.
It's not what they put in. Oh, it drives me insane, Mike.
We're
that
getting
makes
there.
no sense.
We're getting there.
No sense.
Nope.
I want to have a board meeting right now with everybody from Spotify.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
You know, that is ridiculous, Mike.
Listeners, please look for us on Spotify. Tell your friends. Take your friends' phones from them. Go to the Apple Store. Search Doc G Show on all the computers, if that's
on
even
Spotify.
possible.
On Spotify. You know, it's Mike. This is the thing. I don't know this is the case, but I think it's the ones that have deals with Spotify that are in front of us. You know?
It definitely is, man.
You know, but like some of them, I'm like, really? They got to deal with Spotify? How they got to deal with Spotify? Like that show does what?
Come on.
Anyways, listeners, I'm sorry. You don't need to hear me ranting and raving. That's a bit much. You know what you need to hear me say? A lot of cities fast. That's what you need to hear me say.
Yeah.
Shout-outs to the regulars. Here we go.
Shout-outs.
Shout out to Radford, Virginia, Gainesville, Florida, Frankfurt, Germany, Anoka, Minnesota, Ashburn, Virginia, Piracai, Brazil, San Diego, California, Dublin, Ireland, Boardman, Oregon, Genoa, Italy, Richards, Texas, Barcelona, Spain, Winfield, West Virginia, Biloxi, Mississippi, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Peoria, Illinois, Katy, Texas, Toms River, New Jersey, Olive Branch, Mississippi, Asheville, North Carolina, Los Angeles, California, Spartanburg, South Carolina, Athens, Jordan, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Chicago, Illinois, Boynton, Virginia, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Columbus, Ohio, Falkenstein, Germany. Oh, I was so close. Jacksonville, Florida, Columbia, South Carolina. Okay, man, I was so good right there, Mike. It's right there. I almost did that in one breath, too.
Almost.
Gosh, young man lungs. My goodness. Oh, man. Anyways, thanks to all the regular listeners. We do appreciate it. Falkenstein, even though I screw up on your name every time, I do appreciate the listens.
So true.
And we're getting quite the stronghold in Fort Lauderdale. Appreciate the listens, Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, we do.
Keep them coming. Mike, 4-star listeners. First on the list. You've got one more week, listeners, in Fort Worth, and you will be moved up to the 5-star listens. There you go. Fort Worth, let's hear it. Yeah.
Let's go Fort Worth.
Yeah. Fort Worth, the old Dallas-Fort Worth area, Mike. Have you ever, I know I've been to the city. I don't know that I've ever technically been in Fort Worth versus Dallas. I've just been around the area. I don't know.
I've never been to, I don't know if I've been to Fort Worth, but I will tell you my favorite skate shop, and I ordered like at least $1,000 worth of goods from this skate shop, was in Fort Worth. And
there you go.
They always took care of me. And shout out.
They still open? Do you know?
I don't know, man. It's been a while. I don't even remember the name, but I just remember them being so nice. Everything being shipped super fast, and
isn't that the best?
They were awesome. They were a
Isn't
good
that
skate
the
shop.
best, man?
Yeah.
When you find the small independent store that they're just going the extra mile.
Yeah, man.
You know,
they were great.
You know, I got a person that does that for awards that I make. Awardmakers.net. I forget where it is, but it's in, like, I think Indiana somewhere. Nice folks, Mike. Super nice folks. They're always so fast with the emails. Anyways, this is not an advertisement for them. Oh, come on. Indianapolis, Indiana, Mike. Shout out to Phoenix, Arizona. Chuck Box, am I right?
Oh, Chuck Box, man.
Good stuff.
Great burgers.
Good stuff. I've thought about it a little bit since last week. It is not enough to make me drive like a 40-hour drive to go there, but I thought about it. So
yeah,
I thought
we need more burger restaurants with ingredient
Fixin' bars.
Yeah.
Yes. Come on, Mike. Dedicate yourself to saying Fixin's bars.
Fixin's bars.
I know you hesitated on it. You were like, stuff bar. Fixin's.
Yeah, I couldn't come up with the
Fixin's.
word. Yeah, Fixin's.
Mike, also, I saw that. There's a Fuddruckers in Las Vegas. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Sweet.
I think I did see one, yeah.
So you need to hit up Fuddruckers. You need to hit up Fuddruckers for both of us.
Yes.
Go to the classic Fixin's bar. Shout out to Miami, Florida. Shout out to Nashville, Tennessee. Trussville, Alabama. Never been to Trussville. It's right outside Birmingham. Middleburg, Florida. Shout out to you guys. Tampa, Florida. Shout out to you. San Francisco, California. Shout out to you. Council Bluffs, Iowa. Shout out to you. Toronto, Canada. Shout out to you. Dobropia, Ukraine. Yeah. Shout out to you guys. You know what? Some folks may not have your back, but guess what? The Doc G Show does.
We have your back.
Right? We love you guys.
Yeah, we do.
Shout out to you, especially for listening. Lastly, Mike, Detroit, Michigan. There you go. Detroit, Michigan. Mike, we are going to take a break, but we are going to be right back with none other than John Moreland, straight out of Bixby, Oklahoma, right here on the Doc G Show. Welcome back to the show, everybody. We are very happy to be welcoming a master songwriter, a terrific performer. He just released an album last year, Visitor, and he will be coming to Florida starting February 25th in Jacksonville at the Blue Jay. And he's got 2 more dates here in the Sunshine State before he goes on the Cayamo cruise. Mr. John Moreland. John, how are you, sir?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. So you're coming to Florida. Now,
Yep.
I've heard you talk about how there were a couple of years ago, you were finding touring to be, more of a chore than it should be. Are you looking forward to touring again?
I really am. Yeah, there was a while I got pretty burned out on it, but I took some time off the road and time to rest for a year and a half or so. And the recent tours I've been doing, since taking that break have been really, really lovely. I've enjoyed it a lot. So I'm looking forward to getting out there. I'm looking forward to going to Florida this time of year also. It is snowing here today.
Oh no. Oh no. I will say, for the first time since I have lived in Florida, we had snow.
I heard about that kind of recently, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it was uncalled for.
That's wild.
There were several people that were actually. I had a lot of friends that were actually like excited about it. They're like, "Oh my god, it's gonna be so awesome!" And I was like, "No, that is not what we signed up for, guys.
That's not what Florida's about.
Exactly." I was like, if that's the case, we can go to Montana. Okay,
Exactly. Yeah.
But I mean, what you've obviously been here several times in Florida. What would you say your favorite thing? I mean, is it the weather coming to the Sunshine State?
I think it probably is the weather, I guess. Yeah, usually that's I feel like I tend to go there in the wintertime, so I'm always just really glad to be there. And yeah, I like a lot of things about Florida. I played Gainesville a few times. I've had some friends in kind of from like some of the Gainesville punk bands, and that
Nice.
I really enjoy that whole No Idea Records scene. And
The big guys that made it out of there, Less Than Jake.
yeah,
Probably the
right.
biggest, yeah.
Chris from Less Than Jake is a friend who's helped me out a lot through the years, and yeah. So anyway, I mean, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff about Florida to appreciate, I guess.
Yeah. Chris, super nice guy. He came on the show
Cool.
like two years ago. You know, he's got his podcast where he sort of explores big songs. They're big hits for different artists.
Right. Yeah.
Well, now your Florida trip ends with the Cayamo cruise. Is this the first cruise you've been on?
Yeah, it is. I had a strict no cruise policy for many years, and I don't.
Well, this is a pretty unique one, though.
Yeah. I mean, I think that this one may have. Yeah, we may have talked to them about doing it in years past, and I think I was never down, and because I always think the idea of being on the ship freaked me out. I don't know. I remember thinking like, I like to play venues that I can leave when the show is over.
Yeah.
But, I think, yeah, again, it just like, as the older I get, the more winter time really gets to me. And I think that, the last couple of years I've just been noticing like, man, about this time of year, I'm always wishing I could go somewhere warm, and maybe I could do one of those cruises. So I kind of decided to be open to it. I think it's going to be fun.
Absolutely. Well, I have heard, we've had former Cayamo cruise participants on the show. We had Jim Lauderdale, great dude on the show, and he loved it. Rodney Crowell loved it. And so, I think, and it's a very songwriter cruise. I mean, everybody on there is, Jeff Tweedy and Emmylou Harris and just all of those songwriters. So, I think and I remember Rodney, I asked Rodney, do the fans on the cruise get a little too in your business? And he was like, no, they definitely, he was like, they keep their distance unless you basically invite them over pretty much. And I was like, that's good. Yeah. Cause like, that was the thing. I was sort of like yourself. Like I was thinking about, I was like, you're just stuck on there. And like,
I could see it being intense. And then also, it's like, well, I guess if it is, I got a room I can get away to or whatever. And I bet people are probably generally really cool on there.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I've heard all positives.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, now just a couple of days ago, on the old Instagram, you did something that you do every now and then. You posted a video of yourself sort of jamming out. Now, I know sort of along with that sort of step back from touring there, you also at one point got rid of your smartphone. Do you ever do sort of periodic washout periods with the smartphone, or do you have you sort of got back on it?
Yeah, I've been on it since then. I haven't. I had that one period of flip phone that I made myself use, and it was really good for me. And I would say since then, I feel like I've done a better job at kind of just being able to pull back a little bit from things more frequently when I need to, rather than kind of just go and let everything build until I'm really, really overwhelmed, you know?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's always an option, man. Like if I ever, I do kind of take some comfort in knowing like if I ever feel like my phone is making me mentally ill again, I'm just gonna switch back to that flip phone again.
Always good default for sure. Well, the videos that you do make, I mean, they're simple. They're you playing the guitar, just singing in the living room usually. Sometimes you take it out to a new venue.
Yeah.
Do you like making the videos?
I do, yeah. I mean, like you said, it's simple. There's no production to it at all. I just play in front of an iPhone, and so it's not like hard work really. It's not too bad, and just playing a song, but it feels like a cool way to just be able to share what I do. I think that what I've learned throughout my career is the thing that works for me and kind of keeps things going or moves the needle, so to speak, or whatever, is really just showing people what I do. And there's no, I don't have a lot of hype. I'm not really about that, but I just want to show you like, here's my songs, here's what I do. And I think it's cool that there's Instagram is a really convenient way to do that on a big scale. I used to just feel like the way to, you have to do that by going out and playing live. And I think that's still true, but there's, additionally now you can like use the internet to reach people all over the place who can't be at your shows or whatever, or people who may not have heard of you, and the algorithm just throws it their way or whatever. And,
that's the amazing thing.
I think that's kind of, Instagram became a lot more fun for me when I realized that that's what I should be doing with it. I shouldn't be posting like show flyers. I should be posting videos of me playing songs. you know?
Yeah. No. I mean, I definitely it amazes me because I'm sort of a hard sell when it comes to like concerts, like in the fact that like I've got to really want to go to the concert, like really know the artist, really be invested into the music. Like it's not one of those. It's not one of those that I'm just like, oh yeah, I've heard of them. Let's go to the concert. Like so. It amazes me when I talk to artists and like they'll literally, have a lot of people come to their shows that are like, oh yeah, I saw you on Instagram. And so I came out and it's like, wow, how many videos did you see? They're like, oh, I saw one that I liked.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa,
totally.
Okay.
Yeah, that stuff really can work. I mean that, I like social media it's like the algorithm is infuriating, frustrating, whatever, but nobody can figure out what to do, how to really make it work for them. And I think that I guess I can I feel that too, but like I think even in these days where it doesn't work anywhere near as well as it used to, I still find that it still is helpful to me, and I don't really have to worry about how to freak the algorithm or whatever. I'll just I'll just kind of post a video when I feel like it, and that seems like it's been working.
Yeah, no, I mean definitely there's a lot of your videos that have gotten a good response. And I noticed like that was the other thing I noticed. I mean, the comments are always overwhelmingly positive. They're always like a lot of them are just, saying how meaningful your music is. And every now and then I'll notice you respond to like a comment or two.
Yeah.
In general, do you just stay away from the comments? Because I do feel like it's a dicey place to be.
It certainly is. Unfortunately, I see most of them, I would say. But yeah, it is fairly rare that people are, well, I don't, it's somewhat rare, I guess. Maybe every couple weeks or like every couple weeks or so, somebody will maybe like say something mean to me on there or be cruel.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But that's another thing that I've just learned over the years. Like I used to engage with that stuff and try to argue back or whatever. And now I just delete it. And
Yeah.
if it's something that really off, I'll just like screenshot it and post it in my stories so that other people can see it and go harass them if they want to or whatever. But I'm not.
I was about to say, usually they will.
I don't. Yeah, usually they will, and I don't even have to do anything. So
yeah.
So yeah, I've like that's a big thing to just like if somebody is being like cruel on there, I just try to just delete it and move on with my life because I've found that an hour from now I'm not going to remember. I'm going to have forgotten about it. But if I try to engage with them, it's going to ruin my whole day probably. So that's a big. But yeah, like and most of the comments are just I get really nice ones, and I try to give a lot of them a little heart if I can, and every now and then if somebody's asking me a question about something that I can answer, I'll answer them, or if it's like a friend leaves a comment, I might get back to them or something. Yeah.
Responding to the negative comments, it's sort of like the old adage: if you find the rule of holes, if you find yourself in a hole, number one, stop digging. Like it's just
you're
just gonna go lower and lower with that person.
It's not gonna be good for anybody.
No, and I wish like there was like maybe I should invite a psychologist on the show, but like I just want to get in the psyche of some of those people that do that. Like, what's your deal? Like, why do you do that? Like,
I can only imagine it just comes from the fact that you're miserable and you need to take it out on somebody else.
Yeah, and I mean, but like that's the thing is like I guess they're just misdirected and don't understand. But I'm just like, that wouldn't make me feel any better, anyways. Like even if I did it, like I'd just be like, okay.
I guess some people it does. I don't know, man. Yeah.
Short gratification. I have no idea, but I noticed a couple of random things in the videos I did want to bring up. This one, just like a couple weeks ago, you had a Seattle Supersonics hat on.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Now I was wondering, is that because it's a throwback of the origins of the OKC team, or was that just like a random hat?
Not random. I definitely chose that one. It's it's because of the OKC connection, and also because when I was a kid I really did love the like 90s era of the Sonics and
Peyton, Kemp.
Yeah, I didn't live anywhere near there, but just that I loved those guys. I loved Sean Kemp and Gary Payton. And
man, they were a duo.
Honestly, man, I've always just been kind of drawn to like they had one of the coolest aesthetics of it.
They did.
The NBA team and their logo and the jerseys and everything. So like I think that was another reason I was really into them. But
I loved drawing that back in the day, the little half basketball with the city in it. Yeah,
that thing's cool, man.
It was definitely. I mean, I grew up just loving Jordan, of course, because it's but like that was the thing. They were sort of like, even though they went head to head in that '95 championship, they were sort of like my second team, the Seattle team. I just loved. I did.
That's kind of how I felt too. Yeah, I just loved, and I grew up in Kentucky, so I was a big NBA fan, but we didn't have. There was no. I guess the closest team would have been the Pacers, but I didn't really, I didn't have any connection to Indianapolis or anything. So I think I kind of just was more of a fan of players, and I didn't have any reason to be loyal to a specific team really. But if a team had 2 or 3 players that I liked and felt drawn to, then that's, I would start buying the merch.
It's always interesting in areas where there's not a professional team, you know, because that's the same. I grew up on the other side of the mountains in Virginia, and we had no team. The closest team was the Charlotte Hornets, which I did go see a couple of times, but it's like 2.5 hours away from my house.
Right,
and so
yeah.
like, you know, you don't have a football team, you don't have a basketball team, and it's just like, well, I like these people. Let's go with them. So like
exactly.
you know, or in some of those areas, it's always then that's where the obsession with college teams comes in, and then they
That's
just
true.
like
And yeah, Kentucky was certainly that way with college basketball, you know, and then yeah, now I live in Oklahoma, and before the Sonics moved here and became the Thunder, it was of course just college football is like all anybody cared about. So.
Exactly. Well, now the other thing I noticed in one of the videos there, it was like a couple. This was actually a couple months ago, I think. I noticed right behind you, you had the adjustable dumbbells up there. Is that
Right.
is that the go-to workout?
Yeah, I mean, I have sometimes I go to the gym and use like treadmill or elliptical or whatever, and then when I lift, I pretty much do dumbbells only. So I just have those in the house.
I like them, man. That's
they're pretty convenient. Yeah,
I got a pair. I think I got a pair like 10 years ago or something. It's such a game changer. So you know, it's so great. You can do basically everything with them. Although, like the new ones now, I like there's new ones that are a little bit better shaped. I think. Do you have those? Are those like the Bowflex ones?
These are the Bowflex ones. Yeah, they're right now actually. But yeah, those like I like them, but they're just a little bit like they could be a little bit more dumbbell shaped. I know what you mean.
Yeah. That's the only thing. But yeah, they're definitely like, I mean, like, you know, through the pandemic when you couldn't go anywhere and everything. Oh, that's a game changer right there.
Totally. Yeah. I've known people that like brought them on tour and stuff too, you know, just to be able to do a little workout in a park or something with your adjustable dumbbells. But I've never brought them, but maybe I will someday.
Honestly, I had let's see, Nico Moon on the show, and he didn't like, and I should probably tell him he can probably swing a pair of adjustables, but he just had a bunch of like just, you know, individual like random dumbbells. He showed me, and he just had like a 40-pound dumbbell and a 30-pound dumbbell, and like
that's a lot to carry with you.
Yeah, exactly. Real quick, as far as the comments in the videos, I also noticed one of the things, and I mean, you're sort of known for this to a degree, but a lot of the comments actually come from other artists. Like I see all these other artists, all these other songwriters that comment and say how amazing the song is. And I don't want to take anything away from your other listeners who listen to music, but is it a little something extra when another songwriter says, "Whoa, this song is amazing," or "Whoa, I love this because of this reason"?
Yeah, I mean, that's really fun, and I'm really grateful to have a community of fellow songwriters and musicians that I can connect with and participate in, and it's cool to feel their support, and you know, they're all people who I admire as well, and it's, you know, so yeah, I mean, and for sure, anybody who, I guess if somebody can, it's, you know, the way a fellow songwriter appreciates a song might be different than the way a layperson appreciates the song, and they're both equally valid, I would say. But since I am a songwriter, yeah, it can be cool for sure to hear someone else's another writer's take on something I did in a song that I honestly probably wasn't even really thinking about, but it just like what felt right or whatever, and then you know, that can definitely be insightful.
Would I mean it because I've seen a lot of them, like I said, And I mean, I know it's probably been going on for the last decade or so, but what songwriter sort of sticks in your head that gave you a compliment on one of your songs and you were like, whoa, that's big time. That's wow. I didn't see that coming from them.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure I can recall specific instances but I can definitely say just people who have been really supportive of me for a long time and encouraging and complimentary, supportive, whatever. I've been friends like Ben Nichols from Lucero or BJ from American Aquarium. I mean, Aaron Lee Tashin, Caleb Caudle, Samantha Crane, like Caroline Spence. There've been a lot. A lot of people I'm grateful to call friends through the years that anytime they tell me they like something I did, I'm just like, cool, my day is made, really lucky to have their support.
Well, I mean, it's like I said, I see you labeled as a lot of times, like in articles and whatnot, the songwriter's songwriter. Yeah. And like, I mean, I feel like it is evidence, like, when I go on Instagram and I look at your followers list, I think there's about 40 other artists that I've had on this show that follow you and like pretty much everything that, like, as far as like all of your performance posts, they like all of that. Like, I mean, do you ever, because I sort of asked this with Jim Lauderdale when I had him on the show, because he's written a bunch of like #1 hits for other people like George Strait and these people, but like he never had a huge sort of hit himself as far as his artistry. Do you ever sort of wonder that yourself, that you get like this appreciation from all these artists and you're like, okay, why is the whole population lagging relatively, I feel like?
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's a little of all of that. Like, I think the songwriter thing can be, you can see it as a blessing and a curse, I guess. But it's like, I don't know. I think that I can't really control who likes my songs anyway. So I just like, I have to just make the best ones I can and put them out there. And I guess I'll take what I can get, like I'm glad that people like them. I think, sometimes people worry about getting too pinned into that songwriter thing, as it means that your audience is going to be small forever. But I don't really feel like that. I mean, I feel like I maybe have somewhere landed where it's like best of both worlds, where, I'm a songwriter, but at the same time, when I go on tour, I don't feel like I'm incredibly obscure. Like I get to play for decent size audiences and stuff. And it's so like, I think that's probably a good spot for me to land, actually.
Nice. Yeah. Well, now I would imagine you get like a fair amount of requests to write with other artists. Do you get a good amount of co-writing requests?
I used to, and I would turn them all down. I never wanted to co-write with anybody. And now I don't really get it anymore, probably because I said no to everybody. But now I'm kind of I'm a little more open to it now. It would have to be the right situation, I think. But but yeah, I definitely like am much more open. I don't know. I think when my younger years, I had some weird idea about co-writing that it wasn't as valid or something, but I don't really feel that way now. And so I think I would be open to it if the situation was right, but I haven't really done it much yet.
Well, now, did you co-write did you co-write with Zach Bryan on Memphis, or was that just sort of an individual sort of thing?
That was a co-write thing, but it was the way we did that. Zach had his verse and the chorus written. And I guess he had that much done and was thinking that he wanted to have me on that song. And so he just sent me a little voice memo of his verse and the chorus, and just said, "Hey, I want you to write the second verse and sing it if you're down." And so that was really it. He didn't tell me what any of his lyrics meant or anything like that. I didn't tell him, like, we didn't talk about what it was about or anything. I just listened to what he did and then tried to write what I thought would come next in that song. And, I guess it worked. I mean, he didn't give me back any notes to change or anything.
This does not work. Sorry. Never mind. Well, now, have you, I wanted to, like, I was thinking about the compliments as far as from other artists and whatnot. Have you ever heard from any of, like, the artists that, like, sort of initially got you into, like, the more folk style sort of Americana scene?
Yeah, I've had some of that, I would say. I've been fortunate to, like, I guess, thinking back, like, Gillian Welch and Dave Rawlings were a pretty big influence on that. When I was young, kind of finding their music and shifting into this folk world or whatever. And I've gotten to, meet or speak with them once or twice. And same with Steve Earle. I mean, Steve Earle was a big influence for me at that age too, to kind of like find my way into the roots music songwriter world. And I've been fortunate to meet Steve a couple times. And so that's like that kind of stuff. Or Buddy Miller's another one. Yeah.
Nice.
That was met Buddy, and I know that he has played me on the radio show that
him and Jim do. Yeah.
Like, so that kind of thing is really, really special always.
Nice. Now, I was wondering, because, I mean, for the listeners that don't know, you started sort of in the hardcore genre, and then you went towards this more songwriter style, and like you said, there were a couple of really sort of seminal characters that got you into that.
Yeah.
What caught your ear, like with Steve Earle, with Gillian and Welch, that made you say, well, I should go that way?
I think it was kind of already in my blood, sort of, because the music the big musical influence in my family is my dad. My mom is kind of one of those people that, I mean, if you play her a song and she thinks it's pretty, she'll enjoy it and she'll tell you, but she's not like a music fan, really. She's not like,
right.
She doesn't know.
You ask her to name it, she's like, yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't know. But my dad is the music guy in the family. So, and he played the guitar a little bit, and it's actually this guitar hanging behind me.
Nice.
That he, that's what I learned to play on. And so everything he listened to was kind of like the first music I heard, and he loved Neil Young and the band and CCR and Tom Petty and all kinds of like kind of songwriter oriented, like roots influenced rock music, I guess. So I think that when I started finding the modern equivalents to that stuff, like Steve Earle, and my dad loves Steve Earle too, but he didn't know his like 2000s music or the stuff that I was getting into at that time. I think that stuff just sounded like home to me. I was kind of raised on, and even being when I was like into hardcore and punk, I would like indie rock bands that I would learn about, like Magnolia Electric Company or something. I would hear that and just feel like, dude, this is like Neil Young, Crazy Horse to me or something. So like, I think it always just those are just the sounds I was raised on. And when I found, but you know, that at a certain age that you feel like, well, that's my dad's music and that's not my thing. And my thing was punk and hardcore. But
So
I
it took a
think
little
that,
bit to come back to it.
yeah, once I found my version of that roots rock music, then it was like, now it's mine, but it also feels like it's just in my bones because it's like these are the kinds of sounds that I grew up on. You know?
Exactly. Yeah. Do you ever think like I might go back to hardcore? Like let's hit the distortion pedals.
I had a dream last night that I started a hardcore band and it was so fun. And I woke up like really wanting to do it. So maybe that's totally a possibility.
You're like, I forgot to mention this new tour, all hardcore. And so
I mean, I don't think it would be a great idea to try to integrate it into my
it might be a little shock
Moreland
to the
career,
current visitors. Yeah.
But I might just do like a side band thing, you know, just like play some local shows or something. That might be cool sometime.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, it also, you know, then I mean, it is. I mean, that's the great thing with your current setup. So easy travel. You got a guitar.
Touring solo is really nice, man. It's really
yeah. Then you do hardcore. You got all the gear. You got all the other players. Yeah. Well, now your most recent album, Visitor, you just put that thing out there. There was no large like build up, not a bunch of like teasers and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like that had to be fun as an artist. Was it fun to just I'm throwing it out?
Yeah, it really was. I was pretty insistent that I wanted to do it that way. The two records I had done before that felt like, and granted, those came out during more pandemic focused times, but it really felt like that like 3-month lead up to the album coming out was just eternity, and it felt like by the time the record came out, everybody thought it was already out like a month ago, and it's like, no, that was just another single. So I just feel like that 3-month advance press lead time is just kind of like not really needed now. It's pretty ridiculous now. That, and from experience as a music fan myself, like I can relate to that when someone announces an album and they release the first single and I'm like, oh cool, I'm excited about the album. I listened to the first single and I like it and I'm like, oh great, can't wait for this album. And a month later, another single comes out, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, right, that cool. Let's check that." And the second single is like, "Yeah, it's cool, but I'm not as excited now." Third month, it's another single comes out, and I'm like, I'll listen to it whenever. Maybe not, don't even listen to that one. And then the next month, the album finally comes out, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that thing. That's old to me already." But I haven't even heard it. I've heard like 2 songs, but I feel like it's old, and I'm tired of hearing about it already. And so I just don't want to do that to people. I don't want that to be how my records feel when they come out. I want people to be excited about the whole record and be able to listen to the whole record.
Nice. And so you're still a big believer in the album as a whole.
I really am, yeah. And I mean, and I think that, I mean, if not to say I will never release like one-off singles, I'm down for that too. But I think, when you have an album coming out, I don't think it does. The only song you're really doing any favors for is the first single. And then every other song on the record kind of suffers because people don't care anymore by the time they get to hear those. Yeah. And that's just the way it is now.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly thought that when your album came out, I was like, that's a good idea in the fact of you're not putting preference on anything for the listener. They don't know, so they got to go explore themselves and say,
I like that too. Yeah.
yeah,
There's no single.
yeah.
I think maybe next album, I don't think I'll do it exactly the same way where it's just like no advance at all and then boom, here's an album. But I think that I definitely don't want to do the traditional 3 months, 3 singles thing ever again. I think that maybe there's some middle ground where we can land, where I could do like release maybe 2 or 3 singles all at once, and then the album comes out like a month after that or something, maybe. But I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, definitely the 3 month cycle, the 3 month lead time just feels obsolete.
Well, I mean, some artists that I've had on the show, I mean, depending on depending on what record label they're with, some of the holds have been insane to me, where they'll be put through these hoops and it's like a year and a half down the road. And I'm like, does it seem like they're like, yeah, basically forgot what music was on my own album. I was like, oh yeah, right, there we go. That's the one that's coming out. Like,
yeah, I know, and that sucks too, man. Yeah, to have your album that's coming out and it already feels old to you, that sucks too, man.
Yeah, it's good to just get it out. Well, I mean, on the music side, do you have another album already sort of in your head crafted, or is it still very in the rough draft stage?
I'd say it's in the beginning stages. I've got like 3 or 4 songs mostly written, and but
now, do you go into it with like an album concept, or is it just the way that it comes to you, just here and there when you get inspirations?
Yeah, usually I'll just like to just kind of take it song by song. I just write songs and I don't really think about an album until I've got a few songs that feel like they fit together or work well together. And then that's the point where I'll kind of go like, okay, yeah, these feel like they fit together. So that could be the beginning of an album. And then if these are going to be a few of the songs on the album, then what else needs to go on there with it? And then I'll kind of start writing
towards that
in that
end
direction. Exactly. So, so yeah, but at first I don't really like to try to like conceptualize too much. I want to just kind of write songs and see what comes out of me.
Yeah. See what direction is created. Yeah. Well, now, since you're getting ready to come down here as far as Jacksonville, when you go on tour, how do you decide? What is it? It's a different set list every night, different order, everything changes, or are you a guy that likes to keep it pretty similar on each show?
I keep it fairly similar. I like to try to change out. I might do this. Sometimes I'll do the same set 3 nights in a row. If it feels like shows are close enough where people are coming to more than one show, I'll try to switch it up more.
Yeah.
And I'll try to like change. Yeah, I don't, it won't be wildly different. I usually have like the kind of foundation of what I'm doing is the same. And then there's a few songs that are kind of like interchangeable that I can kind of change out every couple of minutes or whatever.
Before you leave for tour, do you have an idea of like, these are the songs I'm gonna use, or is it more at the start of the tour once you actually like go through the first performance?
Kind of both. I think I intend to be more prepared and to kind of know what I'm gonna play and maybe have brushed up on some things that I want to play that I haven't played in a while.
Yeah.
And then oftentimes that doesn't really happen, and it's like 10 minutes before showtime. I'm just scrambling, trying to think of like, what songs do I feel confident enough to play tonight? So, I'm back and forth between those two.
You ever throw out like does the crowd ever like seduce you into playing another song because of how much they want to hear it?
Like an encore or like a request for?
Well, just in yeah, either one.
I mean, encores, yeah, I get, but I don't. And then, well, both of them, yeah, I guess. Like I get, people will kind of, shout out a song that they want to hear, which is, can be can be stressful because if it's a song that
I don't remember that
yeah,
one.
if it's a song that I'm like, oh man, I haven't played that in like 5 years, or then I'm like, I might have to let you down and just say I can't do it or what, but
Hold on, let me get the lyrics up here. Hold on just a second.
Yeah. But and then sometimes it gets weird, man. People don't understand. Sometimes I'll be like, "Oh man, I don't remember that one," and people will be like, "What are you talking about? It's your song." I'm like, "I've written thousands of songs, dude. I don't remember them all." Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I remember they came down hard on Lil Wayne for that because
Really?
he was talking about like how he can he was like, yeah, I don't remember that song at all, and people were like, oh, can't believe it. I'm like, the
But
dude put out
'cause
like hundreds.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're just like you just get on a roll. You're just going. Like you don't. Yeah, you don't need to remember it later. It's fine.
Well, and you never know what song's gonna like touch a person, and so then like you're playing all of the songs that most people
Right.
connected with, and those are the regular hits. Yeah. And I love that with like any sort of artist that has some they have their following. You will see that true fan that always asks for that super deep cut that you're just like
left field. You're like, oh, who wants to hear that?
and you're just like, wow, okay,
Yeah,
all right.
I didn't know I should learn that one.
Yeah, that's well, I'm hoping. I don't think Jacksonville will ask you any curveballs. I don't think. Hopefully our population will want to hear all the hits. Everything.
Now that we've had this conversation, I'm gonna be on my A game anyways.
Well, John, we are up against a break, man. But I want to thank you for taking the time and talking with us today.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me.
For sure. Listeners, make sure you check out John here February 25th in Jacksonville at the Blue Jay. And then he's got 2 more dates. I think Gainesville is one of those dates too, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so right down the road, either one, make sure you check him out. We will be right back here on the Doc G Show. And we are back here on the Doc G Show. You just heard John Moreland. My goodness. Nice fella, Mike. Nice fella. Oklahoma. How many times have you been to Oklahoma?
0.
0.
Yeah. I want to go though, we got
I honestly think it's 0 for me too. Girl, come on. I'm trying to think, but I don't think I've ever been to Oklahoma. I think
Kent Rollins.
You know what? Me and you need to meet in Oklahoma.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
I think it's closer to you than it is to me.
Oh, definitely.
Yes. Yeah, but we'll meet there, and then we'll watch John in concert. That's what we'll do.
Yeah, I'm down.
And I've already got. I did not ask John, but I asked Will Dorado when they came on the show. Places to eat in Tulsa. So we've got like 15 places to eat in Tulsa.
Let's go.
There's all kinds of delicious places that we can eat in Tulsa. But my goodness, talented fella, just loves to play some tunes, man. John Moreland, my goodness. Just a great guy, enjoyable guy to talk to. Make sure you check out his tunes. Make sure if you're in any of the cities that he is touring, you get out there, you check him out. Otherwise, Mike, we need to move on to the fastest growing segment in the world.
Mike C, Tap 3.
That is correct. Mike, you, so sad, we no longer have one-hit wonders.
Nope.
We had, 5 weeks, I think, in a row? I think it was 5 weeks of one-hit wonders, which was just great times, you know?
Was.
But we've got to move on. And you suggested top 3 projects or presentations throughout our educational career, which I like.
Yes.
Do you have any? Do you have any honorable mentions?
I do.
Okay. You want to go first with your honorable mentions?
Yeah, I could breeze through these. I did a project on surfing, the history of surfing for one of those humanities classes.
Sure. That was in college?
Yeah, that was in college.
Okay.
Yeah, I did a history of, it all started in Hawaii. They used to huge planks.
Longboards, yeah.
Come back from fishing, and then they started doing it recreationally.
Yeah, why not?
This one was a science experiment in 5th grade.
Okay.
This was my own idea. Ooh. But it was... how do I word it? So basically, the experiment was how long does it take for a flame to go out in various container sizes?
Okay.
When you cover the container
the
size.
oxygen content.
I was in 5th grade, Doc G. Okay,
sure.
Very simple experiment, but that one stands out because I think it was my first ever science experiment.
You were investigating, yes.
Yeah.
So those are the honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Okay, first honorable mention I have. I made a Rosetta Stone.
Sweet.
I made a Rosetta Stone out of Magic Model. Did you ever use Magic Model, Mike?
No, and I don't know what a Rosetta Stone is either.
So
or is it either?
I think you could use either in that.
Okay.
I think. The Rosetta Stone, it's a famous tablet, right, that they found that basically had different languages on it. So it had 3 different languages, and it helped folks discern hieroglyphics, right? And so Rosetta Stone is sort of known as something that can help languages, really.
Word.
Right? It's one of the most famous things out there, Mike, and that's where, if you've ever heard of that app for languages, Rosetta Stone. That's where the
definitely heard of that. I thought the Rosetta Stone, for some reason, the Rosetta Stone was like kind of like a 10 Commandments style situation where they had like...
No, it basically had 3 languages on it.
Okay.
So, it had hieroglyphics on it. I forget what the middle one was, and then there was Greek on it.
But what was the point of the stone other than that? What was it?
Because we didn't know hieroglyphics. We had no idea of how to read hieroglyphics.
Oh, okay.
And then
so
with
the
that stone,
just...
we knew Greek. So from Greek, we could decipher what the actual hieroglyphics meant.
Okay.
Because there were 3 different transcripts basically on the stone.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I made one out of Magic Model.
Okay.
Magic Model's basically it's like a super light clay. And
okay.
Yeah. I was pretty proud of that thing.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty
Did you
dope.
put it in the oven and...
No, it dries on its own.
Okay.
Magic Model, you don't need like a kiln. Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, that was one of the honorable mentions.
That's cool.
We made I forget what this was even for. I want to say it was like in 7th grade. It might have been somewhere in middle school, Mike. We made a product, like we were supposed to make a product and then like advertising for it. I like to say that we came up with the idea of Go-Gurt.
Sweet.
Because that was basically our product, except ours, instead of yogurt, was Jell-O. Our product was Jell-O in a bag.
Yes.
And so the whole idea was you took Jell-O, of course, anywhere. So we made these stupid commercials with our own camcorder that we would we filmed each other like riding a bike, and then we'd slam on the brakes and be like, "It's Jell-O in a bag," and we were, and so.
That's fun.
Yeah. It was, and one of the best parts was my friend Lee, while filming those commercials, fell off the pedals of the bike and slammed his nuts right into the bar of the bike. And we got it on camera, and we all could not stop laughing, except for Lee, of course, who did not enjoy the nut tagging. But just hilarious, Mike. Lastly, I guess I've got
what class was that for?
I don't remember. I honestly don't know. It doesn't make much sense for any class. Like, that's what I was trying to think. I was like, what? I didn't take marketing. Like, I don't know what that would be for. But anyways, I think maybe like social science, maybe.
Yeah, it sounds like,
Anyways, I guess also honorable mention, Mike, I got to put on there somewhere, dissertation,
Oh, man.
You got to have that on there.
You wrote a book, yeah. How could that was not number one?
That was
Probably took you the longest amount of time.
It wasn't nearly as fun as these other ones, though, Mike.
I see. Yeah,
it was more a lot of work going on there. Anyways, Mike, number 3 on my list. I did a play when I was in, I want to say it was 4th grade. And I don't even remember, I think we made up the play. Like, it wasn't actually a known play. But we made up a play where I played the butterfly. And it was all hand puppets that we did everything with. And I made my own butterfly hand puppet. I designed it all, and then I acted as the butterfly. And I used sort of a Valley Girl accent as my butterfly, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
And yes, and that was, I was so proud.
Oh, my God, I'm a butterfly.
Exactly. And I was so proud because afterwards, people said honestly they didn't know it was me. They're like, we couldn't figure out who it was. And I was like, yeah. And in my head, though, I was like, there's only like 35 people in our class. How do you know it's not me? I wasn't out there. Like, you didn't notice? But anyways, Mike, I was very proud. It was a great moment in my acting career that has obviously flourished since then. So it was a great one. Mike, number 3 on your list.
Okay, so this was for human development in college, community college. Of course.
Hey, you don't need to put that definer on there. It's college, Mike, okay?
And I did a presentation on feral children. Yeah. And it was good. It was a nice PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah.
I went through, of course, the most famous case, Mowgli from the Jungle Book.
Yeah.
That's the more well-known version of that. But then I started going into real cases of kids who were raised by around
wolves.
They were just wolves, dogs, or just pretty
just
much
in
abandoned.
a trash can.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But this was like the start of my wanting to do stand-up comedy because Doc G, I got some laughs, man. I got some laughs.
Oh yeah.
Some laughs in the feral kids presentation.
So that's why I fell into the niche of feral children comedy.
Yep.
And that's all I do now is I get out there and I'm like, guys, you want to hear about some crazy kids? Let me tell you about this. I like it, Mike.
Yeah,
I like it. I mean, it's a fine line you got to do when you're doing one of those. How many laughs can you get versus how well did you present? And I mean, it's part of it. It's edutainment, Mike. Edutainment. And I'm guessing you did a pretty good job.
I felt like it was a good job.
Did you get an A?
I don't know, probably a C. This was always the goal. Get a C. get a
I
degree.
don't know. I think I failed. Oh, okay. All right. Mike, in 7th grade, this was in English. I performed a dramatic reading of Shel Silverstein's Boa Constrictor. Mike, are you familiar?
No.
I'll redo it. It's not that long. Don't worry. Here we go. Oh, I'm being eaten by a boa constrictor. A boa constrictor. That's right. I said a boa constrictor. I am being eaten by a boa constrictor. And I don't like it one bit. Well, what do you know? It is nibbling on my toe. Oh, gee, it is now up to my knee. Oh, my, it is up to my thigh. Oh, fiddle, it is now creeping up to my middle. Oh, heck, it is now up to my neck. Oh, dread. How scene, Mike. There you go.
Did you get any laughs on that? That would have been hilarious. I would have been laughing every...
Oh, no, I got, yeah. And trust me, back then, I was way better, actually. I went full into it. I was on the ground, too, like fighting a fake snake the whole time, too,
that's great.
while I did it. Yeah. I went in hard. But funny enough, Mike, I have way more appreciation for Shel Silverstein now than I did back then. Back then, basically, like our teacher told us, choose a poem to read. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to read. What is that? This is short. I'll do this. And, but yeah, now Shel Silverstein, man, he wrote so many good things. And he wrote some really good songs, too. He was actually a great songwriter as well, But he wrote the Giving Tree, that was him. And he wrote a couple of songs I know, like some country songs. You ever heard of the song "A Boy Named Sue" that Johnny Cash performed?
No.
That was him.
Okay.
Basically, the whole idea of the song is a dad named his son Sue. And he had to go through life with people making fun of him all the time, calling him Sue because it was a girl's name. And then he met his dad, and he flipped out on his dad because he was like, "You're the son called me Sue." And then he fought him a whole bunch, and he's like, "That's the whole reason that I called you Sue, was to make you tough like you are." It's a good story, Mike.
Nice.
Anyways, Mike, you're number 2.
My number 2, also community college. This was one of my favorite classes in community college. I took speech. And so I created a speech on road rage. It was a speech on road rage. I don't know what I said, man, but I definitely got some laughs on this speech. I remember one of my ideas for potentially solving road rage was, it had already been invented, but basically having like a sign that it was in the back window of your car that you could would have words coming across, pre-written prompts. That you could just press a button that says "thank you" and it goes across your you could
put anything you want.
Other
yes.
So, anyways, road rage speech, that was a lot of fun. Actually, I wish I could go into more detail about what I said in this speech. I just know that I got some laughs. And that was important.
Hey, that's the main thing, especially when you're in high school or college.
For sure.
Did I get people to laugh? Okay, that's good.
I passed the class. And I think that speech class was really, I got the feral kids laugh, right? And then I think next semester I took speech. And then I think after I took speech, I was like, I'm ready for stand-up. That's it. I'm getting laughs in this class.
I've put my reps in. I'm ready.
Let's go to this open mic and see what happens.
And you dominated.
And I definitely did not dominate.
No.
At actual stand-up comedy.
You realized, what? This is a little bit different?
This is
Oh.
way more challenging. And the guardrails are totally off. And that's, I think, what makes it even more challenging is because you're like,
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Well, the big difference, Mike, is like, one, these people are coming specifically to laugh.
yes.
They're not there for other reasons, and then you're just
Yes.
giving them a giggle. They're coming there to be like, hey, pay me with laughter. I
Yeah,
want the
exactly.
laughter now. And that pressure really changes things.
It actually makes it harder when people are
makes it
there.
way harder.
Yes. I've never even thought about this before. But yeah, in the speech class, I was, they weren't expecting
They
to
weren't
laugh.
expecting it. They didn't need it. That wasn't
So-
what they were supposed to do. That's just an
gosh.
added bonus. You just go, oh, hey, this guy's sort of funny. That's cool. All right. I was expecting to be bored out of my mind this whole time. But that's the thing, is people go into comedy going, I want to laugh. Make me laugh, turd.
Yeah.
And, and then
so when you try it, it's a...
and then some people get even angrier when they don't laugh, Then it's like, oh, what is this? This is a waste of time. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh, jeez. No, it's a whole nother level, Mike. Yeah. You've seen that whole nother level. You know.
I know.
I don't know. I mean, I can imagine, but and that's why it scares the living bejesus out of me, Mike. I probably would have been you, but I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to make those people laugh. It's not going to happen.
You're a professor, Doc G. I think that some of the skills carry over. I think that you would do very well. In stand-up.
We haven't had it yet on the show, Mike. But me and Marcus D. Wiley, who's an upcoming guest on the show, we talked about that. We actually, talked about it in the interview, and because he's been a professor for 12 years during his comedy. And, that's what I asked him. I was like, how much similarity is there? He's like, it's the exact same. It's the exact same. For my classes, it's the exact same. And now, again, different audience as far as like what their mindset is going into it.
Right.
But he was saying he sets it up pretty much the exact same. So it was interesting to hear him say that and talk about it. But, that'll be a good one, listeners. Look out for it. It's gonna be a great interview. He's the guy that's been opening up for Ali Sadiq and just does an amazing job. Super nice guy too. Can't say enough. But Mike, my number one actually was not a assignment. It was an impromptu presentation I gave. So 3rd grade, Mike. I was in 3rd grade. My brother had introduced me to rap as a musical genre. And I had listened to The Chronic, Dr. Dre, a bunch. And I loved Nothing But a G Thing. And so I was in the back of the classroom, cutting up, doing shenanigans, And I forget, I think I was just trying to be cool. I was just back there like rapping to myself, like, you don't know what this is? You're such a not cool 3rd grader. Get with it. It's Dr. Dre, So I was rapping Nothing But a G Thing, and my teacher, Mrs. Hendricks, is like, Ben, it sounds like you are singing a song back there. You're sort of interrupting what I'm saying, but I guess this song is so important that you'd like to do it in front of the class. And I was like, you know what? As a matter of fact, I would. That sounds like a very good idea.
That's right.
So I jumped up in front of the class and got through the first 2 verses of Nothing But a G Thing. And I was very adamant about it, Mike. 1, 2, 3, and to the 4. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at your door. Ready to make an entrance, so back on up, because we're about to rip up. I got about 2 lines after that rip up, and that's when she told me to go to the principal. But
You wanted this.
well worth it. No, trust me, Mike. I did complain to the principal. Like, she asked me, okay? She did not clear the song first. She just said, are you singing a song? And I sang the song that I was singing.
Come on. Why can't we just get clips from our life? I want to see this. I want to see this performance.
I would like to see it too, because I'm pretty sure I looked like a giant moron. But I would have been hilarious third grade moron, that's for sure.
I hope at the end of our life, Doc G, we get a compilation of all of these moments that we think about all the time.
A montage when you die. Zoop, there you go.
Of different moments. Yeah.
I always just imagine like when you die, of course, like going to the pearly gates and them showing all the horrible shit. Just a montage of like, well, you did this. Oh God, yeah, I forgot about that one. Oh, that doesn't look good either. Oh no, can you show some of the nice things I did?
Yeah. Oh, don't worry, we're gonna get to the nice things. Then we're gonna get to the times where you almost died but you didn't. And
we just want to humble you first. Here's all the horrible things first.
Oh my gosh, those close call moments. I wonder about those, Doc G. I would like to see a montage of all those moments. I think I had one at Bryce Canyon. I'm not gonna deviate too much from what we're doing right now, but I think at Bryce Canyon. I was taking a video of my wife and I walking, and at Bryce Canyon, there's no guardrails.
Yeah.
It's just, anyways.
No, well, sometimes, man, it takes you a while to recognize those close calls. Like you're like 10 minutes away from it, and you're like, holy crap, I was so close to dying right there. I mean, like, I remember one time when I was running, Mike, this was in a high school, and I crossed the road like it was just a 2-lane road. Yeah. Right. And I crossed because it was a big curve in the road, like a big turn, and like so like it was like almost like 90 degrees or more.
Oh yeah.
And you couldn't see around it. So like normally I run, going against traffic. But like if I was going against traffic, the against traffic was on the inside of the turn, and I was like, I can't do that. And so like I switched over to the outside lane too close to the turn, and right as like I was like in the middle of the road, a car came just flying around that curve, and it literally clipped my shorts. Man. I jumped out and I felt it hit my shorts. And like it was one of those things that like, of course, when I'm in high school, it's just like that was crazy, and just kept running. But then like 10 minutes later I was like, oh my God, I would not be like there's no way I'd be walking anymore, like, and I'd probably be dead. Like, oh
my gosh,
just crazy things like that.
Clip the shorts. Oh, that's too close.
Yeah, you just don't think about it. It's like, but yeah, it's nuts. Anyways, we did get sidetracked, Mike. Your number one.
Yeah, my number one, Doc G. Also in college, Romanticism and Enlightenment, we had to recreate a famous work of art. And I think I've talked about this on the show a couple times, but I spent many of hours learning Für Elise by Beethoven on the guitar.
Ooh, nice.
I watched a YouTube video. I must have watched that video so many times. I played it all the way through in my class. I only messed up once in the middle.
Did they erupt in cheering?
I made a girl cry.
Yeah!
Wow. I made a girl cry in the front row. She was crying. I looked up and she was crying, and I was like, I'm doing it,
Mike. And this didn't change your career to becoming a guitar aficionado.
I tried guitar. I tried guitar, but I just could not.
It just didn't take.
Yeah, it didn't take, man.
That's understandable.
I wish if I could go back, I would have done piano. But I don't know, man. But yeah,
I don't think you've actually brought that up, Mike. Honestly,
no,
I don't think that's ever happened. No,
I've talked about it a couple times in my life. But like, I was playing Für Elise, and I looked up, and the girl was crying, and I was like, "Whoa, this is wild!" But I got all the way through it.
I feel like I would have had to stop and been like, "Really? For this? All right." Go back to it.
I think in the moment, I couldn't. I wasn't. I knew she was crying, but I was like, oh, maybe something else is going on. But
that's what you stopped. Did your grandma die? Why are you? It's the song, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know. That's wild.
I didn't write this, right? Okay.
I wish I had a recording of this. I wish there was a video of this somewhere.
Montage, man. That'd be in the back of your montage. Would just be that musical track of you rocking it out there.
Wild.
I forget. I want to say, what did I learn that on? I did learn that like on recorder or something like that. Just not like the whole thing. You know, just one little part. I think just like the but yeah, it's a jam.
It
I
is.
mean, obviously, Beethoven's just whole nother level.
Yeah.
Whole nother level.
Really hard to play on the guitar, by the way. It was way beyond my own pay grade of what I knew on a guitar. I don't know how to play a guitar. So I was just learning John Mayer songs, and I'm like, okay, I could pull this off. So
it's a lot of finger picking, you know. You're just doing a lot of a lot of moving on the neck there. It's not a lot of chords.
Yeah.
I'm looking over here at my guitars. That's why I keep on looking over. I'm like, should I jam on these right now? I can do it. I got it.
You know what's really sad about it too, Doc G, is like I've tried I can do the first, like very first part, but the rest of the song totally escapes me. Maybe I could go back and
relive the glory, man.
But
yeah, I mean, I think your daughter now is at the point where that music might entrance her. You know, you start playing it, she's gonna be like, "What the crap is that?" And just be sort of drawn in. You might want to try it. I think you want to try it.
Yeah, anything to get her to sleep. I don't mean that in a terrible way, folks. I'm just saying sometimes
he would like to sleep more.
I would like
That's
to sleep.
What he's saying.
Yeah.
He would like to go to sleep. Mike, we need to move on. That was a great top three outside of one-hit wonders. Now, we decided during one of the breaks there that for next week, we are going to do top 3 months.
Top 3 months.
So we've only got 12 listeners, if you're doing the math. That's there's a 1 in 4 chance that I'm going to choose your month. But let me tell you, if you're choosing a winter month or a fall month, guess what? It's not happening. Okay? So I'll go ahead and cut mine down to 8 months that mine can possibly be. That's basically really, no, 6 months mine can possibly be. Anywho, yes, I will wax poetic why my months are the best.
Cool.
And we will hear. But Mike, we need to move on before we go to the 2 birthday suits that we have left. I'm going to go with this one first. I think you can get this one. Here it is. Bill Belichick's girlfriend.
No idea.
Oh, come on. I made sure to say her name in the show earlier, man.
Yeah, my bad.
I laid the Easter egg in there for you.
Yeah.
Jordan Hudson.
Jordan Hudson.
Apparently, it's her birthday, Mike.
Nice.
And I don't have too much on her. She used to be a cheerleader at Bridgewater State University, and she's the daughter of a fisherman, Maine fisherman. And I realize, Mike, I don't know if she's turning 25 or 24, because it seems like all the media can't decide. People Magazine, AOL, MSN News said she's 24 in their headlines. Then New York Post, Yahoo News, Page 6 all said 23. Page 6 actually said she's 24 on February 10th in an article, and then on February 26th they said she was 23. She's been Benjamin Buttoning.
Yeah.
What's that all about, Mike?
What's going on here? Is she 22 right now, or what's going on? Or is she,
Well, I think she's 23 turning 24. I think they realize that. I think she's actually a year younger. But I don't know. She might be 24 turning 25. Either way, she's very young.
Yes.
Relative to old Billy.
Yeah.
Who is not very young. He would be a little bit older. A little bit well-seasoned, Mike.
Yes.
Regardless, happy birthday to Jordan Hudson, you know? She seems to be doing pretty good. Mike, the next one, I don't think you're going to get either. But we're going to give it a shot. Guitarist for the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Flea.
That's their bassist. Yeah. I'll give you his initials. JF.
No idea.
John Frusciante, Mike.
Yeah, I
have you
wouldn't
ever
have
heard
got
the name?
No, I wouldn't have gotten that.
So. He was born on March 5th, 1970 in New York City. His father was a Juilliard-trained pianist, and his mom was a talented singer. They moved to Los Angeles. He fell in love with the old punk scene in Los Angeles, started playing guitar obsessively. When he was 15, he became a huge fan of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. After their original guitarist died of a drug overdose, Our Birthday Suit Wearer was invited into the band. First album he played on, Mother's Milk, great album. Second album he played on, Blood Sugar Sex Magic. In my opinion, I don't know if I can say their best album, Mike, but it's definitely one of the best. Then he left the Red Hot Chili Peppers because he was heavily addicted to heroin, but he got treatment. He has kicked the habit, and he rejoined the band, and they made Californication. And then he left the band again for 8 years, not addicted to anything, but just left the band, and then came back in 2019. He's released 11 solo albums, and he has been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. John Frusciante.
Happy birthday.
Mike. There we go. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to John Frusciante, Eva Mendes, and Jordan Hudson. All March 5th birthdays. Mike, we have, my goodness, some fantastic shows coming up. I've been getting interviews left and right, and I don't know which shows we're gonna air them. You know, I've got a bunch of good. We got the Dropkick Murphys. We've got Switchfoot. We've got Tesla. We've got George Lynch. We've got Marcus D. Wiley. My gosh, we've got the shows, Mike.
Nice. Love it.
We've got the shows because we have the keys to happiness on this show, Mike. Keys to happiness. 10 of them.
Yes, we do.
10 of them. But we need to wrap up those keys. Until next week, I have been your host, Doc G. With me, as always, the one, the only, Mikey, Maximus, the Furnicus, Charette.
Always a pleasure, Doc G. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. And until next week, zip it up and zip it out.
Zippity-doo-dah.